Welcome masters and craftswomen. I will tell you how to make a lariat without mistakes and share my experience. I'll show the work process. The video will be useful for those who are just learning how to crochet lariats, and for those who want to learn new tips of a lariat set with a pattern without mistakes. Print out the pattern, prepare a ruler and colored pens or pencils. If you have the same complex pattern in many columns, then you will notice that when you collect beads, eyes randomly switch from one column to another, and then there are mistakes. In order to prevent this, let's color the pattern and add elements to it. It helps the eyes to catch on and memorize better where did we stop. I delimit each column with a colored pen, and then I will remember that the first column is up to the golden line, the second to the green, and the third to the orange. It was especially difficult for me not to jump between the third and fourth columns, so I ticked these little pictograms. Then, before collecting beads with the third column, I warned myself, yeah, now I'm collecting a row with an orange check mark. You are here. If you have rather geometric scheme similar to mine, then you can isolate the repeating combinations. I remember where they are and collect automatically. Again, these pictograms helped me to collect the lariat faster and pay attention to repetitive sections. If you want to circle such combinations, it will only be better. You can put dashes every 3 beads, because it's convenient to dial 3 beads. Or if you notice that somewhere you can easily dial 5 beads, then 2, then 3, then this is your feature of reading the pattern and collecting. Put dashes according to your set and you will be able to collect faster and the scheme will be clearer. In my scheme, in one column there could meet 2 9s or 2 numbers 11, and I had mistakes. Due to the fact that my eyes jumped from the same numbers, circle every second repetition of the number in a red circle, and you can even put an exclamation mark, then you can warn yourself. So now I'm collecting the usual 9, and now the 9 in the red circle. It's already the second 9. If you see a repeating combination, for example 1 indigo, 2 white, then put brackets, so you'll remember this section well. Circle of 15 beads, then you need to collect a chain of 15 air loops and crochet a lariat for 15 beads in a circle. To the last number in the pattern we paint the square. Most often this is background color. I hardly found this information on the internet. Please thumbs up for my efforts. One report is so the columns that are drawn on the pattern. This is one section with a picture that will be repeated. Also, sometimes patterns are found with letters. That is, letters are already written in the squares. So it's also convenient and you will be better visually oriented and see that, for example, you have white beads with the letter A, blue with the letter B. You can put these letters yourself in a Photoshop. In order to always know where you stopped, you can leave the pointing hook and then move it. If you stopped at a particular bead in the set, you can put a toothpick where you stopped or a small bead. Another way not to stray from the columns, you can close other columns with a ruler. It is advisable to use an opaque ruler. Then you can definitely separate the first column from another columns, and it will be more convenient for you. You can also use a pencil. Then we select the beads according to the scheme and start the set. All columns must be collected from the beginning, from top to bottom and to the end. In order to avoid mistakes in a complex schemes, it is advisable to check yourself through each half of the column. I mean, you collected half of the column and looked again at the set, whether there are errors, and continue. Then check the whole one column again, and then, if you wish, you can double check the full report of the set, because it will be a shame if there is a mistake in some middle. Due to one bead can move the entire drawing of the pattern, and it will be very difficult to restore it. In my scheme, two colors were very similar. This is light green and dark green. In Photoshop you can replace the squares to make them more contrast if you wish. Also, if you want to replace a specific color in the scheme, you can also replace the color in Photoshop, but for this you will have to recolor all the squares. There are dictators programs for patterns for lariats, but I have never used them. It's more convenient for me to dictate the pattern to myself. Let's try to collect a small piece. When I type beads, I always scroll it on a needle, because sometimes there is a defective beads. After I finished the set of beads, I cut off the excess piece of thread and start knitting. According to this pattern for a necklace, I scored 7 reports, that is 7 times of all the columns. Don't be afraid to redo the patterns for yourself and add pictograms. It will only be more convenient. Just look how beautiful the set looks already at the stage of such material for knitting. Defective beads. I start my knitting with a small tube. I knit 15 air loops, then several rows with single crochets, and only then I knit beads, so the beads lie more evenly and you have a place for which you can hold the product. In the future, such a tube easily hides in the end cap and also helps to hold the product. It's very important to knit not too tight but relaxed, not even too relaxed, but somehow the golden mean between tight knitting and relaxed knitting. Because if you knit too tight bead to bead, the product will bend, that it can practically break. It's not very beautiful, and if you knit more relaxed, then the product is smoothly modeled in a circle, and you can make a bracelet or necklace. Be sure to choose a hook that suits your bead size and thread thickness. I have a lace thread and a hook. I choose 1 and 3. Check beads. Have a successful knitting. Don't forget to double check yourself during the set of beads. Have even loops and subscribe to my channel. Thumbs up. See you guys!
down to it, no you wouldn't even fight. Now you're